Did I already record this video? But did it in slow-mo? Yes. Am I extremely frustrated? Yes. But maybe I'll be more articulate the second time filming it. Hello and welcome to SamiVReads. This is a really exciting video for me. This is about my favorite series of 2021 so far. I do love the Simple Wild series, but it's kind of like a standalone. It's not quite the same as this. I would say this is more of a series, but it is the Preston Brothers series by Mclean. So the Preston family is a family of 6 boys, 1 girl, and their father. They did lose their mother at a young age. For some of these people, I think the youngest boy was like a baby, maybe a toddler, when his mother passed away of cancer. So that's the premise of this. We met their sister. Well, most people who read it in order met the sister in the More Than series. I personally did not read it in order. I picked off right from the Preston Brothers series without knowing about the More Than series and how it tied in. That being said, they can all be read as a standalone. You don't need to, you can pick up whatever one. If one of these interests you and the other ones don't, that I'm talking about, you're more than welcome to do it. Just makes more sense to read it together. And I might reread them after I read the More Than series, which I am currently slowly working through. Guys, God does not want me to film today. I've had so many problems. New setup. My tri-sam broke. I will get through this. I will get through this today. I will have this up today. This is my oath to myself and to God to let this go smoothly. So the first book, without further ado, the first book is about Lucas. So this Lucas and Louise. So Lucas is the oldest of all the brothers. He's the responsible. He's a jock. He does track. He's on his road to college where he's gonna get a scholarship most likely. So this one is, most of these books start off in high school or childhood, but they read as not a young adult. Like, I don't read them like young adult. I don't read them as a high school romance. I read them as an adult romance, and I love that about Mclean. So just getting that out there before people come for me saying it's a new adult, because I don't read it like that. I read it as an adult. So Lainey comes to town with her stepdad. They have a no blood relation, but he treats her like a daughter. When he breaks up with her mother, and her and her mother don't have a good relationship at all. So they move to this town where the Preston family is, and Lainey's dad starts working for the Preston family, ideally the father. They spend a lot of their childhood together and become the best of friends. Now, the problem is once she reaches the high school age, like most girls do, especially ones that I assume they don't have a mother figure, from what I've seen, try to find other females that can be like them. So that's where that try to give dating a shot in high school. It doesn't work out for them. She starts trying to find her own, and she starts dating a guy that she particularly isn't liked by Lucas. So they try to manage their life around that. I mention this every time, but the people above me are horrible for stomping. So I'm sorry if it picks up. I feel like they listen to the floors to hear when I'm doing something, like either talking on the phone or something, and decide to be extra loud. One of those days for me. So Lucas was my least favorite of the series, but I still gave it 5 stars. There's something really traumatic that happens towards the end that I don't know if I fully buy into. The second book in the series is my favorite out of all of them, and it's about Logan. So we met Logan in the first book. Logan is the troubled bad boy of the family, also grieving his mother's loss. As every child in here is, he resorts to more drugs and other substances like that. He meets his love interest at a party where the girl he's seeing is actually cheating on him, and that is her friend. She just moves to town, so there's not a huge loyalty or friendship. It's not like a cheating trope. I wouldn't even put it in that category of cheating trope. But she owns a store in town, and she becomes particularly attached to the youngest Preston brother, who we see grow up throughout the series. Super close with Lucas in the beginning of the book, and Lucas in this book has moved away to college. While Logan's still trying to figure out himself, he obviously did not go to college in this time. So we see Logan battle some demons and try to make things work with this girl. We also see where his trauma comes from, and it's a special twist that we don't actually see fully until the very end of why he is so closed off, why he's doing the drugs, and it actually relates to her specifically. She has an added twist in there, which was so well done. It was a chef's kiss moment, and it's how it came full circle and how they had to work through their issues together. And I love the ending for them, and I love the whole ride. I really sympathize with Logan and how he dealt with stuff. I think just the way Logan was written is beautiful. The third book is Leo. Leo is the quiet brother out of the whole troop of brothers, and it starts in childhood. So when the boy's mother passes away, they get a nanny. The dad hires a nanny to help out, and the nanny has a daughter. The nanny's not the nicest person. She doesn't have a good relationship with the daughter, but the daughter's kind of weird, kind of awkward, not a lot of social skills. I feel like a lot of girls go through this. I know I did, especially being a more curvier person, is you have a really awkward stage in your preteens where your boobs are getting big, but your butt's not there yet, or something like that. That just makes you look awkward. It happens. So she's in this awkward stage for the majority of the book. So in the beginning, they're not even childhood friends. She kind of avoids them. She's very stuck to herself. But he has a crush on her, so he tries to build a friendship. So when she comes back in her teenagers, they have a friendship, and then something happens with her. She overhears something, and I will do a trigger warning. It does deal with body dysmorphia, eating issues, particularly with her. So she goes in, something happens to her and Logan in there where they turn into enemies. So now they're enemies, and then they meet again when they're adults, and she's grown into herself. She's a very beautiful girl now, getting through everything. She turns into, like, from ugly duckling to a beautiful girl, even though I don't like that term because I think everyone's beautiful in their own way, even as a teenager. And he tries to, like, win her back, and she gives him a hard time. With Leo in particular, I find you think he's going to go one way, but he went another way. Like, he also discovers himself, deals with his grief in his own ways, and it's, again, I think very beautifully done. I love these books. I give them all 5 out of 5. I always say I have my favorites over the other ones, but they're all very good to read. They all can be read as standalones, like I've mentioned 1,000 times. What I love about Jane Mclean is she takes something like parent loss and it affects the whole family, but she treats it differently for each boy, because obviously everyone deals with traumatic incidents in their own unique way. And I think it's beautiful how she did it for all the boys and how it affects them from, obviously they lost their mother very young up until adulthood, and how they all come together. She also really ties in those brotherly bonds, that not everyone loves their siblings, not everyone agrees with all the decisions, but they all work it out in the end. And I think that's very hard to do in a series, and I love when authors can do it in such a beautiful way that I don't feel like I'm reading the same book over and over again. I felt like it was all very unique stories for the boys. My horrible filming experience that I've had going on, I filmed a whole read with me. I filmed it using filters on Instagram, because my face is very red from the eye infection that I had last week. Turns out you can't format that into a YouTube video. So I had to scrap all the material. But something that I had in there I still want to include, and I'll include in this video, is a library haul. I went to the library for the first time in probably 2.5 years to see kind of what my library had. I saw a lot of people doing it. I read a lot of ebooks. So I don't have actual physical copies. I wanted physical copies because I joined Bookstagram, which I said I wasn't going to do last video, but here I am doing it. I'm very excited for it. Everyone's been so nice to me, which I really appreciate, because I was so nervous to do this, and also so nervous to have an outlet where people can see that I actually did these YouTube videos. So the welcome has been so great, and I'm entirely grateful. Completely off the point now, but I went to the library and I got some books. So I'd like to kind of go through and add them to my September reads, because they're due at the end of September, so they will be included. So the first book I got was Beautiful Burn by Jamie McGuire. So she had the Beautiful Disaster series, which I really enjoyed. I read it many years ago, probably in college. It's stuck in my brain. I love Travis. I know, don't come for me. I know it's a problematic relationship, but I love problems. I said it. Maybe I don't want that in my real life. Like, I lied. I date a lot of problematic people, as most people do, hence why I'm single. Oh my God, what is wrong with me? So I know he's a problematic person, and I know it's not a great relationship, but I strongly do think it's a good book, and I love the drama in it, whether it's realistic or not, one of those things. But this is about Tyler, which is one of his brothers. I read the other one where it was a girl who escaped abusive relationship, but she was pregnant and she stayed at a hotel with the middle brother. So, and I liked that. I listened to the ebook of it, and it was all right. It wasn't as good as Beautiful Disaster. But now I'm going to read about Tyler, who's fighting wood fires, and it looks like there's a girl who hit rock bottom that he meets at a party. He's now a firefighter, and we knew that because we saw him in the books, like in the last book that I read, him fighting off the fires. It's a pretty short book. It's under 300 pages. So I think I'll be able to read this in a couple days. And hopefully I like it. Jimmy McGuire hasn't really disappointed me, but brothers are hard to do. That's why I love the Preston brothers so much. Next book is Say You Still Love Me by K.A. Tucker. K.A. Tucker did The Simple Wild, and I was in love with The Simple Wild. So I'm excited to pick up another one of her books. I read one of her shorter books. It was good. It's not Simple Wild good, so I'm hoping that this one's good. It's about a girl who's 29 years old, so she's in my age bracket, which I love. A relatable story and love interest. Her dad's in a multi-billion-dollar company. Maybe it's not relatable because my dad is not a multi-millionaire as much as we all wish our fathers were. And she meets a guy. It's like a second chance love, I think. So the guy is a security guard at her dad's company, and it is someone that she knew in high school who was kind of like a bad boy. So I think K. Tucker, from what I can read, does a really good, like, brooding boy. I mean, Simple Wild, we know he is a good brooding boy, and she really does a good, like, almost slow burn, but not being too bad. So I'm excited. This is, I think, the same size as Simple Wild. It's almost 400 pages. And I am so excited to pick this up and hopefully be able to do a video on K. Tucker soon, like a spotlight video on her, because I really have enjoyed her writing. The Simple Wild might be my top book of 2021. The Preston Brothers series is my top series 2021, but the Simple Wild book, specifically the first one, the second one was good, but the first one was like really my favorite. So the next one is Spolier by Olivia Dade, and I was really shocked to see this in my library because I saw it once on Bookstagram, because it is about a plus size queen. Love that. So she does cosplay, and the romantic interest is in, like, I'm picturing like Game of Thrones, is Game of Thrones sci-fi? Those fantasy shows where he's in there and she is cosplaying characters of him. So she gets a lot of hype on the internet for this. She tries to keep her private life very private, from what I understand of the blurb here. In some of the reviews I've read, I've seen that she's kind of a quiet girl. But the publicist makes them go on a public date for publicity, and he ends up falling for her during that date. So that's very exciting. I'm excited to see how this plays out. It is one of those modern contemporary ones. It has like the very modern cover book that we're seeing a lot. Unpopular opinion, I don't love these kind of book covers. I love these kind of book covers. I don't like the cartoony stuff. I'm sorry. I think they all look very genetic, and I assume they're all the same book. I know they're not, and I know it's just the mainstream book, but I'm very excited to pick these up. Thank you so much for sticking out with me about my Preston Brothers blabbering on series, where I cannot say enough. I think they're so underrated. I don't know why more people are talking about them, but they're great. Please, thank you so much for the love and support that I've gotten so far. A lot of people have been so sweet to me. I hope it continues and I don't get trolled eventually, because there's 1,000 things you can troll me on here. But please hit the subscribe button. I would love to have some feedback. If anyone can give me a better stand recommendation, since apparently I'm really struggling right now because I have to now prop this up because my stand broke. I'm all ears. Thank you so much. Have a great day or night, and I'll see you next time.